Hey, this is Jonathan Batoshnik. The question is, I've only got $1,000 to market my new business. What's the best approach? Well, with the $1,000, and in this case it's residential and it's maintenance. And if this were commercial, then I would say what I've said before. With the $1,000, really your best options are going to be networking and walking the streets initially. Networking, like I said, with people that you know, maybe being in networking groups, things of that sort. But really, face to face selling initially is going to be your very, very best means to build that up with no money. And I'll also say, too, that this is going to be true. What I'm about to say is true for both residential or commercial. You've only got $1,000. You might consider, if you are, say, in the fertilization weed control business, partnering up, JVing in a sense, joint venture with somebody that's in the maintenance business that doesn't provide fertilization and weed control. If you're in the landscape business, backpack or working with the pool companies, so you're not in competition with them. You're adding a service that their clients all need. If you're in landscaping, again, you could work with the maintenance companies that don't want to be in landscape, that only want to provide maintenance. So really, you really want to put, this is a great strategy if you have more than $1,000, but really network and partner up with companies that provide the service you want. I probably said it before, but something to be thinking about is who is selling to your client something that who's selling to your client and they sell to the exact same client that you sell to. The example, in fact, I know I've said this before, the example I use is the pool company. Right after the pool company finishes, what do they need? They need a fence, they need landscaping, they need things of that sort. That is the perfect client to go after. Perfect company to network is that pool company. How can you, if you're a landscaper, work with pool companies to get the business? If you're maintenance, just as I said, how can you hook up with and do a deal with the landscape guys and all the other people that are selling to your exact same clients, the pest control guys? How can you get them to refer you? How can you get them to recommend you to their client base? That's going to be the fastest way to grow your business, is to make those joint venture relationships with people that are working with your exact client. So now, let's say you've got $1,000. You're doing all that. You're working with them closely. They're referring you. They're giving you. They're recommending you to their clients. Maybe they're even letting you send a letter out to all of their clients with a testimonial, an endorsement from them. So this would be an example of a maintenance company, your landscape, as an example. And don't discount this if you're not landscape. The concept applies regardless. If you're a landscape business and a maintenance company has 1,000 clients, how can you get that maintenance company to send a letter to their 1,000 clients, and you cover the cost? They send a letter to their 1,000 clients, and in there they write a letter from them saying how wonderful your company is in regards, or in terms of being a very professional, phenomenal landscape company, and they endorse you. And maybe you and I, not maybe, you should absolutely make an offer in that letter, something that's irresistible, that will get that person that they've just sent the letter to endorsing you to take action immediately and contact you, so that you can get their name and either continue to market to them or do business with them right now. So the endorsed mailing is huge. So that would eat up part of your $1,000, because you would be mailing to 1,000 people in the scenario that I used. So if you were just mailing a letter in an envelope, you're probably looking at 50 to 60 cents right there. So roughly $500 to $600 of your money gone. But those can have tremendous impact, and if you're in a landscape business, just one job could be a big deal. So let's say you're in the maintenance business and you're serving residential. What would I do? Well, depending on the size of the area you're serving, clearly $1,000 isn't much. If a mailer costs you 60 cents a piece for, say, a postcard or a envelope mailer where you've literally handwritten that person's name and address on the outside and put a real live stamp on that mailer, if that's the case, you're going to consume about $600 per thousand minimum. It could be more, but just that's a number to have in your mind by the time you factor in all the costs. And so you can only mail to a very small number of people, and doing a mailer to only 1,000 may be hit or miss when you're talking about maintenance. It's really hard to say. It depends on how compelling your piece is, and generally when you're just entering the business, you're learning. You're not real familiar with how to market yet. You're not familiar with what's compelling to the client, what'll get them to call right now, what'll get them to react. So what I recommend is shrink your market down. Pick that neighborhood that of people that have the money to spend and attempt to dominate that little market. And what I would do is, if you're willing, knock on the doors. If you're not willing, then produce door hangers, not your normal door hanger that says we'll mow, edge, and weed eat your lawn for 30 bucks. None of that stuff. It's got to be compelling. It's got to be unique and completely different. Produce that door hanger. You can do so quite inexpensively, and you put them out personally yourself because you don't have money, you've got time. Put them out on all the doors and do it again and do it again and saturate that little bitty area. And then every time you get a lawn, I would say every time you get a lawn, market to everybody on the street. I'd put a door hanger out saying, hey, we just got a lawn at this address. We're going to be caring for the lawn. Obviously, don't say it just like that, but that's the concept. And put that marketing piece out on the whole street and market to those people that you just got a lawn, and repeat that every single time you get another one. Now, I would recommend that you don't just use the same marketing piece every time. It can have the same look and feel, but your marketing piece should have a different message. You should be trying different things to compel them into calling you and trying you. At this point, you're desperate. Do whatever you got to do in the way of an offer. Give whatever you got to do. If it means you give them such an incredibly compelling offer that you're giving away a little bit of additional time, so what? You don't have any work. You've got time. You just need to get your foot in the door. Once you've got your foot in the door, you can win them over, and then you can, from there, create that client as your anchor to go about getting the rest of the clients on the street. So your goal is shrink your market down to a very small area, like a neighborhood that you really want, where the majority of the people can afford to have their lawn mowed, and just pound that area just over and over again and dominate that market. You've got to use good marketing to do it. You have no money, so print and put it out yourself. Every time you mow the lawn, put it out on the 7, 8, 9 doors. If you've got time, put it on the entire street again. Market to that street. It doesn't need to just be a door hanger. It can be an envelope with a letter inside that's folded up and written. So kind of a sales letter. It's a couple pages long. It needs to have all the normal traditional elements to it. So if you don't know anything about marketing, go buy some marketing books. Learn marketing. Learn direct response marketing. Headlines, offers, expiration dates, compelling copy, testimonials. There's so many elements that go into writing a really good sales letter. Once you've written that sales letter, and sales letters work, you can simply put it in an envelope and put that on the door. So use a combination, door hangers and envelopes with letters inside of them. Be creative. Do whatever you got to do. But those are the kind of things that you're going to have to do with $1,000, because $1,000 isn't much. But you get some business, you win some business, you mow the yard, and you try to upsell them another service. So normally I wouldn't suggest, so you have no money. Normally I wouldn't suggest that you offer all kinds of services to a client. But if you don't have any clients, you need money. So if you can, you mow the yard, then try to trim the bushes. Try to do some landscaping. Try to do whatever else it is for that client that you can do to make more money. Take that money and reinvest it back into that neighborhood and market more to that neighborhood. And slowly what will happen is it'll all start to bubble up. You'll start to get all this business, and you're getting a yard on this street and you're marketing the whole street. And then you're getting a yard over here, you're marketing to that whole street. And then you get another yard over here, and it just starts to pick up pace. It's called block leading, and strategy's been proven over and over again. It's been proven in the realtor world. You need to do it differently than most people do it. You can't just say, hey, here I am, my company's named X. You need to use me. You've got to look at everything from your client's perspective or your prospect's perspective and say, what would they want? What would I want if somebody came knocking on my door and wanted to mow my lawn? What would I want that would be so compelling that I'd say, yeah, give it a try. I'm willing to put my other service on pause, or I'm willing to fire my existing client, because that's what you're asking. Everybody in the neighborhood isn't just sitting around with nobody mowing their lawn. They've all got somebody. Why in the world should they spend the time and effort to fire that company and use you instead? Because that's the question you've got to answer. You've got to make it compelling. You've got to see it from their perspective to even be able to answer it. And then distribute the marketing yourself, produce it inexpensively. It does not have to be fancy, it does not have to be pretty, but it has to be compelling, and it has to deliver something very significant to them. If you do all that, you can really maximize a very small marketing budget. That's how you can grow your business. It'll multiply, it'll snowball, you'll have more and more money. You keep doing the very same thing that worked initially over and over again. As your pool of money grows, next thing you know, you have a big business. Thank you.